Hi, Cheryl here, and I have a fun birthday card today to show you how I made it. And I did my own sentiments on this, and it says, like a fine wine, we get better with age. And it has these happy women of a certain age dancing with their wine glasses. And then on the inside it says, or rather, we feel better about our age with lots of wine and a happy birthday. So I'm going to show you how to make this fun background for our fun card, fun and funny card, and we're going to add a couple extra wine glasses because the stamp that I use, this is from let me see, Young at Heart. So this is from Young at Heart from Stampin Up. And only this lady here in the middle seems to have her wine with her. So I'm going to give these two their wine glasses also, even though this one gets cut off mostly. But that's alright. She still gets to have her wine glass. So I have sponge daubers. Well, makeup sponges they are, except for this one, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. I have a whole assortment of markers. I stamped this in Memento Tuxedo Black so that I could use my Stampin Blends, and I just have a whole bunch of them here that I'm going to use to color in our image. And I have a little tip when we do that too, to show you how to make nice round dots. Okay, so this is my printout. I just printed this on the regular Whisper White cardstock from Stampin Up. And there's my sentiments for the front and my sentiment for the inside of the card. And I just picked a fun font that I had because it's a fun card. So we need some basic black. I'll be using that for this right here. And also we have a very thin border of that around the background we're going to be making here. So we need some basic black cardstock. The one for the front of the card is cut to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And then the card base is Calypso Coral. No. Coastal Cabana. It's not Calypso Coral. That's a whole totally different color. But it's Coastal Cabana, and it's a 5 by 7 card. So it's cut at 7 by 10 inches and then scored at 5 inches. And this is our piece that we're going to be making our background on. Now I cut this to 5 by 7, but I'll trim that down to fit on the card front. That way, if I want to, I can, maybe if I like this side a little bit better, I can trim from this side, and so on and so on. So I can adjust where I'm going to trim from once I have that finished. And then I have some just thin craft foam. We'll be doing some popping up on the front. This part right here gets popped up a little bit, and both of our little sentiments here get popped up. So we'll be using that. Okay, makeup sponges. Mine are getting quite worn, as you can see. I think mostly, that one has hair on it. I had to pick this one up off the floor. My cats just love these. They think that's just a new addition to their cat toy collection. And as you can see, they're getting quite chewed up. So, I don't know, months ago, I placed an order with scrapbook.com, and they sent me, with my order, it was that they sometimes give a little free item. They sent this sponge dauber in my order, and I just took it and tossed it in my little bowl of sponge daubers that I just keep handy. And never used it until now when I was thinking how worn my sponges were. I was thinking about ordering new ones, and I liked this so much that I got 4 more of them. So it's got a nice small pour sponge on it, and this little handle is very comfortable to hold. And if you have hand problems, sometimes I do, some days are better than others, but it's very comfortable to hold it while you're doing your sponging. And it's great for these large areas like we're going to be doing today. So I like it very much. So far anyway. I don't know how long it's going to last or hold up, but I use things quite a bit, so we will see how it goes. Use the layering ovals framelits dies, the largest one to cut our little dancing ladies out. This is the die set from it's Stitched Nested Labels dies. This goes with the oh, what is that bird's? What is that called? Free as a Bird. It comes with the bundle, if you get the bundle, and they're nice, I don't know what these are, hexagons, but they have the stitching on both sides of the cut line, so these are very nice. And I'm using the large one to cut my black piece out from the front of the card, and then I'm going to use the next smaller one down to cut out my foam, because I found that I can cut that thin fun foam on my Big Shot very easily. The inks we're going to be using are Memento Tuxedo Black, Coastal Cabana, Gorgeous Grape, Daffodil Delight, there's a cat hair, and Calypso Coral. That's where I got the Calypso Coral in my mind. We need a spritzer. I'm going to be using a spritzer, but we won't be spritzing. We'll be doing something else with our spritzer. Tombow, our Art Glitter Dries Clear Adhesive, my 2 favorite glues to use. I have my my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to be using my little sticky end. I have some just clear iridescent sequins and black acrylic paint. Any black acrylic paint will work. This actually says dark pewter on it, but it looks black to me. I have just a cheapo sponge or brush, just a cheap brush. We'll be using this, and I just have this little thing here to more cat hair. My gosh, I should have cleaned this off before I started the video, because obviously one of my cats has been up here prowling around. And I have just this we're going to thin down our black paint a little bit, and those are the things we're going to need today. So let's start out. Let me get my paper out here. Let's start out with our background, that fun background, because that's going to take time to dry. So let's see, I'll just go through my inks, and pick up some Calypso Coral first, and we're just going to put down a nice amount of color on there. You can see my sponges, they're falling apart. Which is actually kind of nice, because I can just take this sponge now and just throw it away when I'm done with this class. I'm doing this little demo here. And I'm just going to pick some random spots on here and put my some spots of Calypso Coral down. We don't need to get too crazy about what's in the center here. go. And shake off those little bits of sponge. Okay, so let me close that up. And I'll move on to the Daffodil Delight. We'll add some of that in spots. Let's get some of that down here. You want this nice and bright, so just keep adding color to it till we get a good concentration of color on there. Okay, so now we can move on to Gorgeous Grape. Let's see. Let me rub that out of it because that's a very intense color. And we want to overlap our colors so there's no like little white areas in between them. Okay, let me get down here. Add a little bit of that Gorgeous Grape there too. And we should probably put some, let's put a little bit over this side too. And then we'll get our Coastal Cabana and fill in the rest of it with the Coastal Cabana. So bright and colorful, isn't it? Oh, come on, Coastal Cabana. You know, I saw somewhere, somebody says to push down here. And it'll pop open, and it does not. Okay, so that's not a good tip. I watch a lot of videos. I bet you do too. So whenever I see tips, I try them out. If they're a good tip, I pass them on. If they're not so good, I don't. That was not so good of a tip. It did not pop open. I was hoping that would get that open for me. Sometimes I have a little problem with these the new Stampin Up ink pads, because they close very securely, which, you know, that's probably a good thing. You want your ink pads to close securely, but it also makes it hard to open. And like I said, some days my hands don't work so well. So almost done here. Like I said, we don't have to worry too much about that little middle part there. That's going to get covered up. I'm going to just get lots of color on here. I'll put some there too anyway. There, so nice and bright and cheerful, just smooshed all around on there. And now I will show you what we're going to do with our spritzer. I told you we weren't going to spray with it, and we're not. And I'm going to get a piece of paper towel too. So I'm going to take my spritzer, I'm going to open it up, and I'm just going to tap it and get some good little glops of water going on here. And you'll start to see them. Oops, sorry, I bumped the camera. You'll start to see them kind of lift up the ink. That gives us our nice blotches. I want to get some larger ones on there. Let's see. See if we can get some little larger blotches. I'm putting quite a few of them on here. I like it very speckly. Come on, big blotch there. And get this corner up here. I don't have much going on there. Okay, so now you should be able to start to see it lift up the color. And now I'm just going to blot that off. And there we go. We're all speckly now. Can you see that? And now we're going to do the black part too. There's some nice little black speckles on there. And let's see. Need to open this up. And you only need a little tiny bit. I'm just going to put a little drop of the black in there, you see. I'm not putting a lot there. I don't like to waste things. And now I'm going to give a couple little squirts of water. We want to thin that black down a little. And I'll mix that with my brush. Am I on camera? Yeah, I'm still on camera. Good deal. I sometimes get involved and I forget that I've only got a certain amount of room here. So now I've got that loaded up with my thinned down black, and I'm going to just speckle it. Now if you don't have a mat like I have this is a nice silicone mat that I found on Amazon. If you don't have a mat like this, you might want to put some kind of scrap paper or newspaper down underneath while you're doing this, because as you can see I'm getting quite a mess going here. But because this is a silicone mat, it'll just all wipe off. So now I'm speckled pretty good here. I want to get some of those like sprays of dots. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, so now I've got my lifted up spots. I've got my black spots. I'm going to put this aside and let that dry. I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to color in part of my dancing ladies. Well, you know what? Let's do the wine glasses on the dancing ladies. First I really need to get this cleaned up though. You see how nice that wipes up off my mat? There. Okay. Oh, dancing ladies, where are you? Oh, there they are. Okay. So, the wine glasses Just a simple wine glass is going to look like this. Make a U shape. Make a flattened out circle on the top, or oval. Some people call those ovals. You need the stem for your wine glass, and then the base of the wine glass. Okay, so that's what we're going to draw in their hands, but smaller. See, this one's rather small. So let's see. So this one I'm going to draw the stem there, and our wine glass, oval on the top, and our base. And then we'll do the same over on this one. And she's going to look like hers is like almost spilling. This one here looks like she's going to spill hers, but so there's the stem of the wine glass, there's the base, and there's the bowl of the wine glass. Okay, I'm using a very fine marker. I'm using a Pigma Micron number 3. Any very fine marker will work. So, okay, so we got that, and I also want to show you how to do the dots on her pants. There is a certain way to do it, and I've got, according to my camera here, I have 3 minutes before I've run out of time. So we're going to use the painterly end, and we're going to hold our pen straight up and down. Okay? Straight up and down. And you just go down and up and down and up and down and up. The trick is holding it straight up and down. You can make your dots bigger or smaller than these. If you do them, if you hold it like you're holding your pencil and dot it like this, you're not going to get nice round dots. You're going to get ovals. You see? So ovals, bad. Circles, good. Okay, so straight up and down. Okay, so I'm going to finish coloring these guys in here. Maybe except for their faces. Maybe we'll do their faces together, because that's just a little bit different. I'm just basically coloring them in. No shading or anything. And I'll probably cut this out also. I'll probably do all my die cutting. I'm going to do all my die cutting too while I'm gone. So I'll be back. So good time to grab a snack or something. Okay, so let's finish coloring in these. I used the light pink pirouette for their skin tones. And you notice I left the faces uncolored. That's because I wanted to show you how I colored those in. And let's see, how can I do this without having to move my camera? Okay, maybe you can see a little better here, like this. I used the dark pink pirouette, and I'm going to just give them a little blush on their cheeks. And each of them gets a little color on their cheeks, just a little dab there. And then I also did the lips with the dark pink pirouette. And they're just a little tiny spot, so you have to be very careful. And just use the very, very tip of this. Okay, and now I will go back with my light pink pirouette and finish coloring in the faces. I'm keeping this very cartoonish for the most part, because, well, these are like cartoon figures. They're not drawn very realistically. So it looks just fine without doing any major shading or anything. But I did want to give them a little blush on their cheeks. After all, they are drinking wine, so depending on how much they've had so far, they're going to have a little blush on their cheeks. Now we don't want them dancing in midair either. So I have the light smoky slate. I'm going to give them a little floor here to be dancing on. I'm just going to go across with my smoky slate. Like this. And just fill that in a little bit. Again, we're not getting real crazy with it, because it's kind of a cartoonish image that we're coloring. Okay, so I think we're about ready. We could start putting the card together. One more thing I need to cut, and that's the sentiment and for the outside and the inside of our card here. So I'm going to show you how I do this. Okay, so I have my line of printing here for the outside of my card, and I'm going to put it in my paper trimmer, and then I'm going to line this edge right here. I'm going to line that up with the top of the tallest letters. I'm going to trim that off. And you do want to do this first. Don't try trimming the bottom first and then do this. It's not going to end well. Okay? And then I'll go do the same thing on the bottom part, or on the underneath part here. I'll line it up, and there's a couple of G's that go down further that I can line up with, and that's what I'm lining up with, the part the letters that go down the furthest. And trim that. And there I have my strips. So I just trim them off with my scissors. And those will be ready to go on the front of the card. And now this piece here, when I was cutting, I noticed that my cutting blade went a little wonky there. So I'm going to trim off a piece just to make that top part straight. You see, that's why this one looks a little thicker. I'm going to trim that off also, because that's bugging me. There, so now that's much better. Okay, so now I want this piece for the inside. My card is 5 by 7, and I want that just a 1/2 inch smaller, so we have a 1/4 inch all around. So I want it 4.5 by 6.5. Okay. So let's see, 4.5. That will cut off this much off the bottom. I think I'm going to trim just a little bit more off the top. When I do things like this, I just kind of eyeball it and take a look at it and see what I think of it. Okay, so now 4.5. So now that looks much better to me. That gives me a nice area here to sign the card still. It gives you a little header at the top. So that looks good. Now we want this part here to be 6.5. But I know my paper's 8.5 inches wide. So that's 2 inches we need to trim off. So I'll just trim 1 inch off of each side. So 1 inch on this side. And 1 inch on this side. And that's ready to go on the inside of our card now. Let me get rid of my paper trimmer here. And my scraps. Those are perfectly usable scraps. I'll keep those. These I will not. Those can go in the trash. Okay. So let's put the inside sentiment in first. Then it's done. It's out of the way. I'm going to use my Tombow glue for this. And get that going. Come on, Tombow, get going there. I'm using the Tombow because it will give me a little bit of wiggle room. Gives me a little time to get that lined up nice. And there's our inside of the card. And then we'll go to the outside. Now I also trimmed this piece down. Our black piece that's going to mat this is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. So I cut this to 4 5/8 by 6 5/8. So there's going to be just a tiny little edge of black all around this. So again, I'm going to use my Tombow for this. Oh, and look, I had that written on the back. Haha. And here I figured it out again so I could tell you. Okay, and there we go. Got a nice little edge there in black. And then this goes right onto the card front. So, Tombow again. I use a lot of this Tombow glue. I really do. And put that on the card just like so. All lined up nice. And now we're almost ready to put these on. I want to put my oval on here first though. Again, I'm going to use the Tombow so I can line my oval up nicely. I want to make sure I have an even amount on either side here, the black showing. And now I'm going to put my foam piece on. Now, if for some reason your die cutting machine doesn't cut the foam with the cutting die, you can always use your die as a stencil. Let me show you. Okay, so what we can do is, I want the big one. Okay, so there's the big one, and what you could do is just trace on your foam all on the inside here of this die, and then cut it out, and it will still be within the edges of the black, and you won't see it on, you know, when you if you peek it under the edge there, it won't show. So either way will work. I just find it easier if I'm going to go die cut some things, I might as well die cut my foam also. So let me put my Tombow on there. And I want it centered top to bottom and side to side. And then we also need to put Tombow on our little sentiments here. We want to pop them up. So I'll just trim those so they fit. And this one. Okay. And again, we're going to use the Tombow. And stick that on. It's almost time for sequins. You could leave the sequins off if you wanted to. Or you could use something else. You could use rhinestones. I wouldn't use pearls. You could use, you could use like the Nouveau drops, something glittery. You could pick out something glittery. Either the clear glitter one or something else. Some colored ones maybe. Alright. So this one will go up to the top. I'm going to put that like a little angle. Because like I said, this is supposed to be like a fun card. So we'll just put that as a little wonky angle there. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. Let's see, like this maybe? Yeah, like that. That looks good. Oop. Now stick on there. Sticking on my fingers because I got have some of the glue on my fingers. Grab a baby wipe and wipe my fingers off. Because I don't want my fingers all sticky when I'm putting the sequins on. That will be a royal mess. Okay. Close up my Tombow, and we'll be using the Art Glitter Dries clear adhesive for this part, and get my U-Pick tool out with my little sticky end on here. Now for years and years I just used a skewer, and on the very tip of it I put just a little dot of the Tombow glue. And you know, this type of Tombow glue anyway, it dries sticky, so it made a nice little picker-upper tool. But now I have this one, and I have it, this tool here, and I have it, and so I'll use it. I bought it mostly because it has like handy little ball styluses. It has other ends on. Let me show you. It has a little spatula. It has a pokey tool, and then this is a spare sticky one. So, and I think they have another one now too. Oh, you know what I think they have? I think they have the die brush. So my camera's telling me I have 10 minutes left and I should quit talking and get on with putting on sequins. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to take my Art Glitter Dries clear glue, and let's get that glue coming out. Come on, glue. And I'm gonna pick an area. I'm just gonna randomly put some dots. I'm not gonna do the whole front of the card with the dots at first. So I'm just doing like this section right here, because I want to put quite a few sequins on here. So rather than having to pick my glue up every time, I just put a bunch of the dots on. So here we go. Look how easy. It's nice to have a little tool like this to pick up sequins. And now you'll be able to see this glue right now, but when that dries, it's going to dry perfectly clear. You're not going to see it at all. See, this is my finished card here. You can't see the glue at all. It really does dry clear. So rest assured, don't panic if you're wondering about that. This is the hardest thing to do, is to do random dots. It's just in the human being's nature, I think, to want to line things up. I don't know why that is, but at least I think it's one of the hardest things to do, is to do them randomly. I want them all lined up like nice little, good little soldiers. But that's not the look we're going for on this. And some of my sequins are right side, or cup side up. Some of them are cup side down. If you want to take the time to have them all one way or the other, that's up to you. And I did do that on my original card, but I'm working on a deadline here to get this card finished. Oh, I ran out of glue dots of glue there, and I think I'll need more sequins. Can never have enough sequins, right? We need sparkle. I have a sign in my craft room. It says, "She leaves a little sparkle wherever she goes." Some days that's true, especially if I've been working with glitter. Our whole house gets sparkled. And one more, I think, and that's enough. That's enough. Stop me from glittering. Stop me from sparkling things. That's what I need. I need somebody here to say, okay, that's enough. You've done enough on that card. It's time to quit. I started out with very simple card ideas, and as I go along, sometimes they tend to get more and more elaborate, and I really do have to stop myself. See, this is just going to, first of all, we need to be able to get this all done on a video. And second of all, I don't want y'all to be watching and going, oh my gosh, look at all the stuff that has to be done on this card, and I need it in 20 minutes. I need to have a card in 20 minutes, and that's not going to work. So sometimes I try to keep them very simple, just for occasions like that. So we've all done that. You're getting all ready to go out to someone's birthday party or whatever, and you say, oh my gosh, I didn't get a card, I didn't make a card. You know, people know you're a card maker, they expect to get a handmade card, you know. So there we go. We have all of our little glitters on, and our happy dancing women of a certain age. And I hope you've liked this video. If you have, be sure to hit that like button down below there. And if you want to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button, and then a little bell comes up, and if you click on that bell, then YouTube will let you know when I post more videos. So if there are any Stampin' Up products you'd like to purchase, that'd be wonderful. If you're in the United States, you can use me as your demonstrator, and that would be great if you did that. I would really appreciate it. And as always, I'll have everything listed down below here. I have a Facebook page and I have a blog. Basically on the Facebook page, I just have a listing of all the card videos. On my blog, sometimes there's little extra things on there. So you might want to check the blog out once in a while. It does have, you know, every now and then I put a little something something on there that doesn't show up anyplace else, either in my video or of course not on my Facebook page. I keep that very simple. So y'all take care, stay safe, happy stamping, have a nice glass of wine with some friends, and take care.